back to another edition of Sailing with Scott.
Watch out for the dive!
In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at two boating accidents we witnessed and dive deeper into why these collisions are so captivating to watch. We will hear from an expert and examine why these accidents occurred and how they may have been avoided.
All right, send it. I got 100%.
Primary factors that contribute to accidents include operator inattention, lack of experience, or weather conditions. The key is to always prioritize safety while boating to minimize the risk of accidents. Sailboat racing can increase the risk of accidents, so it's very important for you to know the racing rules of sailing and when and how they may affect you, your crew, and all the other boats involved. Sailboat racing rules also help ensure fair competition, minimize the risk of collisions between boats, and provide a clear framework for navigating in close quarters during a race, allowing sailors to compete safely and with defined guidelines. Now let's look at these two accidents. In the first accident, two boats are sailing together on a collision course in this non-sanctioned Farkle race just outside Dana Point Marina in Southern California. The finish line in the race is a 2-boat length distance from a stationary mark. There is no committee boat, just a mark in the water, which is a red stationary government red non-buoy called the Dana Point Lighted Buoy Number 2. Obviously, two boats cannot occupy the same space, so room must be given to one of the boats. Although the yellow boat is on starboard, it must give the other boat room or a collision will occur.
You know, there's a set of rules out there, and number one rule is like, here's some rules, follow them. And the number two rule is, yeah, all those rules, they don't apply if you're gonna crash, so don't crash.
Although it may be one of the more complex rules, this scenario is governed by Rule 18.2 of the Racing Rules of Sailing. Rule 18.2 states, giving a boat room at a mark means allowing another boat the necessary space to properly round or pass a mark on the course, essentially providing them with mark room so they can sail the course without touching the mark. There are other stipulations in Rule 18.2 which did not apply in this situation, and you can easily find them online in the Racing Rules of Sailing.
Watch out for the dive!
This collision had viewers reacting like judges, with good feedback and lots of comments, blaming one boat or the other. Fortunately, no damage occurred and no one was injured. The collision demonstrates why we all need to know the racing rules of sailing.
Just watching the video at first, when you first get the video and you look over and you even hear somebody on Beso Mi Mucho say, they're on a starboard, which is correct. So therefore they would have the right of way.
They're on starboard. Well, they have to give room.
Even though you have the right of way, you have to give room. You have to make room. You can't force them into the mark. You can't force them out once you're in the mark. You can start forcing people in different places outside of the zone, but once you're in the zone, that no longer applies.
Watch out for the dive!
Tequila needed to give you room to come up and around.
Now, let's take a look at the second collision. A look back at the mark reveals several boats behind us. Unfortunately, two Catalina 385s are about to experience what every sailor tries to avoid: a collision. In sailboat racing, when a starboard boat changes course, the key rule is rule number 16, changing course, which states that a right-of-way boat, like a starboard boat, must give the other boat, a port tack boat, room to keep clear when changing course, meaning the starboard boat cannot alter its course in a way that forces the port boat to immediately change course to avoid collision. Essentially, the starboard boat must give room to the port boat when changing direction. In this collision, no one on either boat was physically injured, but thousands of dollars worth of damage did occur, and some aboard did suffer emotional scars.
As Marblehead was nearing them, it looked like they were going to clear, and at the last few seconds, right before that collision happened, you saw Marblehead dip up. And I think that's where it all fell apart. So Marblehead had the right of way, being on a starboard. They were in the zone. One was leaving the zone, one was coming into the zone. Marblehead had the right of ways, being on a starboard tack. And then when they did that little dip up, whether they lost their bow or got rounded up or whatever that little dip up they made, kind of changed the rule at that point. They're no longer, they gave up their right of way when that happened. And Tamal had nowhere to go. Tamal was kind of stuck because this boat now that looked like they were going to clear is now on them. Tamal could have done an evasive action to turn and move their stern away, but I think Marblehead kind of maybe oversteered and kicked their stern out excessively, and that's what clipped the two boats.
If you have a comment on either of these two accidents, please share it in the comments section below. We'd also like to hear from you. If you have any suggestions on how you stay safe on the water and avoid accidents while racing. As sailors, we're always learning and appreciate your feedback.
So the rules are only good if everybody's following them or knows them. If everybody doesn't know them, then it's up to you to not let somebody crash into you.
People are still fascinated by watching boat collisions due to a combination of elements, including shock and surprise, the feeling of danger from a safe distance, and a gruesome curiosity about accidents. So let's all stay safe on the water. Enjoy the fresh air, sunshine, and the beautiful views. Sailing, after all, is a wonderful way to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life.